Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us for Let's Talk Schools with Superintendent Dr. Mike Looney. I'm Carol Birdsong, Communications Director for Williamson County Schools, and today our topic is world language in Williamson County Schools. And to start off the program, our guest is Christy Gilliland, who is the curriculum specialist for world language, and we are so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate the invitation.
We're going to have a great conversation about world language. First of all, though, you are new to the school district.
Yes.
And so we want to introduce you to all of Williamson County. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in Sumner County, live in Robertson County, and went to school at Lipscomb University for undergrad and got my master's degree from Tribeca. I taught pre-K through 6th grade and a little bit of middle school, foreign language, and loved it, absolutely loved it, had a great time. And then as my first child came along, I decided to want to be closer to home, so I've taught high school Spanish and French for the last 8 years, so really enjoyed that. It allows me to be silly and have fun and play games and really be comfortable in the classroom. So.
Well, I know we are thrilled to have you here, and you are an excellent teacher, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But first of all, let's talk, Mike, about how we got Christy here and why we got Christy here to join us in Williamson County Schools. It's part of the strategic plan for the school board.
Sure. First, Christy is a phenomenal hire. We're glad to have you on board, and she's already had an impact on the boys and girls in Williamson County Schools. You know, Carol, we talk a lot about the strategic plan on this program, and as the public knows, several years ago now, the board engaged our community in a strategic planning process, and we dreamed. We talked about the things we want to be and be known for, and one of those things that came out of those community meetings is the desire for our community to have graduates that are fluent or proficient in a second language. And so we are on that journey. We're experimenting this year, and with Christy's knowledge and background, we've really made huge strides in that area, and so looking forward to that.
And it's exciting for me because I'm coming to a community that wants foreign language. I didn't have to come here and prove to you how much you needed it. So that's exciting for me. Coming from the teaching side of it, you want to expand the options to K through 12. So that's exciting.
So what kind of work are you doing, Christy, this year? You've been here how many months now? 3 or 4?
Since July.
Yeah. And so what kind of work are you doing?
Well, at this point, we're setting up what we want to try. So we're putting different model groups together. We know we're testing 2 groups in the elementary schools. We have a Chinese group to set up to roll out in October in the elementary at Kenrose. And we want to offer a couple different things to them. They're going to be working with a teacher 2 days a week with one of our Chinese fellows. And then they'll also, on their own at home, work on Rosetta Stone. So we're going to test and see how that works with the younger grades. And then
when you say elementary school, what grades are we talking about?
Concentrating on 3rd through 5th grade.
3rd through 5th.
Through our experiments here, which we can talk about at the central
Yes.
office, we've discovered that it's probably not quite appropriate for younger students. So we're going to test and see how it works with 3rd through 5th.
And that's at Kenrose Elementary.
Kenrose is going to be Chinese, and then Longview Elementary will test our Spanish program with the same model.
Okay.
Spanish teacher and then Rosetta Stone at home. And we're really hoping that the parents will get involved and learn along with their children and really make it a family investment and make it more of a community effort to bring the foreign languages not just to the student but to the family as well. So.
And the use of the word test is purposeful because one of the things that we identified early on in this process is there wasn't a curriculum that we aspired to use. So we're technically writing our own curriculum along the way. We're experimenting with the Rosetta Stone software program. I'm using it myself as the director of schools to see what it looks and feels like from a customer standpoint. But we're actually writing curriculum both in Chinese and in Spanish so that we'll have our own curriculum at the end of this test year, experimental years, to make sure that whatever it is that we do, we're going to do it in a way that is sustainable over time and ensures that when students finish their experience in Williamson County Schools, that they walk away being proficient in either Chinese or Spanish. So.
And I would say this, what you are doing, Christy, I've had some questions about, well, are you still teaching foreign language at the high school? And that is continuing while the district looks at I guess, moving it down into the lower grades.
Correct.
Talk about that.
Well, we know that it's going to affect eventually the high school. So we're hoping to build K through 8. And of course, they're going to come to 9th grade with a skill set much higher than what the current freshman has. So yes, absolutely looking long down the road, we're going to have to adjust those scope and sequences for our upper grades, and how exciting. Our hope is to offer, instead of just your Spanish 1, maybe Spanish literature class or Spanish film or something, or Chinese, film. So it's really exciting to think about. The teachers are really excited, the high school teachers.
But the program is also predicated on student choice. And so as we, we have the benefit of an entire school year to really be reflective and in the design process and purposeful. And so this doesn't mean that if a student, as an example, wants to take French at the high school level, that's going to go away. In fact, we have no intentions of that going away. But what we do know is that we want to begin much earlier. We know, based on the research, that the earlier we start students on foreign language acquisition, the more proficient and the more likely it is going to be that they're successful. So we can't offer 10 different languages beginning at the elementary level. So our current plan is evolving, but we plan on doing some sort of stair-stepped approach where you have some limited choice at the elementary level. At the middle school level, perhaps it gets a little bit more concrete and expands. And then at the high school, you have the full repertoire of language choices that students may have. Carol, for a long time, what we've done in schools is kids have had 1 or possibly 2 years of a foreign language, and they walk away benefiting from that experience. But the reality of it is they have some knowledge and are able to do some basic language skills, but they're not proficient. They can't go to a foreign language and do business there, or start a company there and go to work in an environment where they have to speak a second language fluently. And that's what's so important and so exciting about the work that we have right now.
So the goal is proficiency, being fluent in a language.
Correct. Okay. The goal is proficiency, and much of that depends on the model we're trying to work out. The time is involved. Right. I liken it to a sponge. People ask, and they say, kids, they learn it so much easier, and that's true. I like the analogy of sponges. We always talk about kids, they soak it up. And adults can too. You're learning Spanish, is what Carol's learning Spanish.
Surely.
And but just physically over time, if you want to use this analogy, the sponge gets smaller. It still functions the same. It can still soak up, but not like that student that essentially is a great big large sponge.
So you're talking about my brain.
Your brain, essentially.
I think she's saying that our brains are saturated.
Well,
I think that's what she's saying.
Brain anatomy changes over time. We know this now with technology. But at the same time, it's still a sponge. It can still soak it up. But the issue becomes having that exposure. When you put that sponge in water, it's going to soak up more. So the water is the time that the children are exposed to it. Yes, they do learn maybe a little better, but you've got to still expose them to that. You can't drop a few drops of language and expect the sponge to be fully functional. You've got to immerse them in as much language as you can. So those are some of the issues that we're working out, is the time factor. We just want to bathe them in the foreign language, and we're working on a model to do that.
Well, let's talk about your work on the model, because you are experimenting on the adults here at the central office.
Yes.
And I think, Mike, you got that set up for us, but explain how that all came to be.
Sure. Well, once again, we're writing the curriculum so that when we walk away from this 1 year worth of work, we understand fully what it is we're going to be expecting our students to know and to be able to do. And because there's not a program that we've identified that says this is it, this is the one that's going to get us to the end point, we are actually testing our ideas on ourselves. I'm taking Chinese 4 days a week before school, and I'm also using Rosetta Stone in the evening at home. And so I'm learning the Chinese language. And I'll tell you, for me, what I've learned is, one, it's not nearly as hard a language as I thought it was going to be. And I learned that I have to practice a lot. And as people like yourself are doing Spanish, so we're having a great time. We're giving some of our personal time up to do that, but we feel that we'll be able to make a more informed choice in the long run, so that when we implement this with our boys and girls, we know fully what it's supposed to look like, and kids should be able to do as a result. So it's exciting times.
It is.
It really is.
And I really appreciate the fact that the administration is allowing themselves to be students again, because I think that's only a good thing, that they put themselves back in that role as a student and having to learn and study again. So it's been fun to teach my colleagues. It has been so much fun teaching you Spanish and all the others. And
well, we have a great class.
Well,
so
you
there.
do. Yeah. I have the ideal students. I mean, it's a wonderful setup for me. So I ask you to do all kinds of crazy things, and y'all are so sweet to jump in and do whatever crazy thing I ask you
I would
to
have
do.
loved to have been a high school student in Christy's class.
Oh, she's
I probably
awesome.
would have taken Spanish longer than I did in high school.
She's
I
really
always feel
awesome.
bad for my neighbors. It was a little noisy, but it was good noise. It was productive noise.
Well, I knew I had to get my act together when we had our first test.
Oh.
And so I didn't study as much as I should have for my first test, and so that was my warning sign that I needed to get busy. So I've been being more studious now and trying to make sure I'm prepared for my language tests in Chinese.
Yeah, it's fun.
Now, Christy, you're taking Chinese as well,
I am.
but teaching Spanish.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So, and how's that going for you?
I really am surprised, like you said, I can do Chinese. My experiences are in the Romance languages, and so taking on an Asian language is completely different. But I like the challenge. It's been very eye-opening for me just to talk about language in a different way, because when you throw the writing component of the characters in, you know, it's not the regular alphabet like we're used to for all the Romance languages. So that's been a real challenge, but really fun, I think.
You know, I was in the grocery store the other day, and I was looking at some products, and it just so happened that one particular product had the Chinese character water on it. Mm-hmm. And I recognized the character. I said, hey, that's water in Chinese.
Shui.
It was just really a cool experience, and I just can't wait to have our students experience that across the district, whether it's Spanish or Chinese. Their lives are going to be so much more enriched and benefited from having that experience in Williamson County Schools. You know, there are many districts across the nation that have tried this unsuccessfully, and so what we're trying to do is take our time to make sure that we think through everything, we test everything, so that when we unveil it to the boys and girls, that it's a model that can be sustained over time and successful. So
and have substance.
And it's in keeping with the community's desire and mandate to the school board through the strategic plan.
Mike, I want you to show off some of your skills. So I want to hear you say something in Chinese.
Okay, I'll first of all say ni hao, which is hello. It's good to be here. We've learned to count. I've learned how to describe the vehicle that I drive. So I'll say wa shi bai kacha, which it means I drive a white truck. And I'm sure I didn't do it as good as my Chinese instructors, the fellows from China, but I'm
very patient
working
with us.
on it.
They're
They're
very sweet.
extremely patient, and I look forward to the public meeting those two fine ladies. They're a wonderful addition to the Williamson County team.
Well, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. How did he do? I know you're the
I was
Spanish
following it.
teacher,
It's
but,
good. No, it sounded
but you
good.
could follow him based on your instruction.
Well, I'm sure I'll get some corrective feedback once Vivian and Sophie get a chance to get on the air. But it is so much fun, and once again, you know, our goal in Williamson County Schools is to be nationally recognized in the arts, academics, and athletics. And in the area of academics, that includes proficiency in a second language. And so we want to be the best in America, and I think we're well on our way. What do you think?
We're getting there.
Well, I'll tell you what, since you've kind of introduced us to Vivian and Sophie, we're going to meet them. But we're going to take a break first,
Fantastic.
and then we're going to bring Vivian and Sophie on. So,
Okay,
all right.
great.
We'll be right back.
On narrow roads like this, cyclists should leave at least 2 car lengths in between riders. That way the cars have room to get in between the cyclists and pass them individually. If the lane is too narrow, or if the cyclists are traveling pretty much the same speed as traffic, then the cyclists have the right to come out and take the lane. Stay safe and have fun. And most of all, enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Schools. We're continuing our conversation on the World Language Program in Williamson County Schools. And with me now are 2 teaching fellows from China, Vivian and Sophie. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the program, and really welcome to Williamson County Schools and to Williamson County, Tennessee. We are so glad that you both are here. As we introduce you, to our viewers, I'd like to start off by having you each say a little bit about yourself. So, Vivian, shall we start with you?
Okay.
Can you tell us your background, your where you're from?
Yes, I come from the north of China. Yeah.
Okay, good. And what is what's your education? What are your degrees in?
Yes, my major is teaching Chinese language for foreign students.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, very good. How long have you been here in the United States?
Oh yes, I have been here for 2 months.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you're not just new to Williamson County, you're new to.
Oh yes.
Okay, very good.
I like here. enjoy the job and life. Yeah.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
we're glad you are happy here.
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
Sophie, now it's your turn. Tell us your background.
I'm from Central China, and I majored in language teaching and curriculum in a master's degree. Yeah,
Oh, very good. Okay, and how long have you been over here in the United States?
2 months.
At the same
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
so you
yeah.
guys have both been here
Yes.
at the same time. Okay, very good. All right. Well, what would you like Americans to know about the Chinese language? We'll start with you, Sophie.
The language has a 1,000 years of history, and I think. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
yeah,
It's okay. Just keep going. We'll work through it. 1,000 years of history. That's
Yeah.
that's been around a while.
Yeah, and I think language is just an access for people to know about the culture, and we have a lot of interest in culture, such as Chinese art, like painting and craft, and kung fu, and Chinese food, and music, opera, and medicine, and so on. I think people will be interested in it. Yeah, if they know the language, it will help them to know the culture. And yeah, and I think from my experience of learning a language, as you learn more and more, you become more and more interested, and you want more and more from the language, and you want to know more and more about the people, about country. Yes.
Okay.
And Chinese is not so hard as people thought. Actually, we only have 2,400 characters frequently used in printed materials. It means that you only have to know 2,400 characters if you want to, so that you have no trouble reading any printed material in Chinese. Yeah, so.
Okay. Well, and that's kind of what Dr. Looney was saying. You know, that he's been able to recognize a lot of the characters
Yes.
and things. Vivian, is there anything that you want to add about the language?
Oh yes, Chinese language has a long history, and I think by learning this language, students can also learn the people and culture. Once they start this journey in learning Chinese language, it's going to take them into wonderland. So I hope my students can finally enjoy Chinese stories and Chinese poetry. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
You all have been working with folks at the central office and the adults. Tell us how the adults have done. Dr. Looney and Christy, give us a report on how they've done in your class. Sophie, we'll start with you. Are they good students?
They are really good students, great students. Yeah, they are working very hard and very active in participation of activities, and they practice. And some of them even they feel that they are fall behind a little bit, and they ask me for private lesson. I'm very glad to do that.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, yes.
One thing I noticed in the class when I went to observe, and I want you to share that with our viewers because they may not know, but you have a special paper that
Yes.
you use
Yes.
in your class.
Yes.
Describe that.
That is for Chinese calligraphy. Yeah, because calligraphy is also very important and interesting part of Chinese culture, characters writing, and that magic paper, we call it the magic paper, can be used for 2,000 times, and just use it with not ink, just water, and it will dry and disappear, and you can write on it again. Yeah.
You have a special pen. Is it a special pen or
That's
brush?
a brush pen. Yes.
It's a brush pen, and you
Yes.
dip it into the water.
Water and write on the paper, and it will dry and disappear, and you can write it again.
And it dries and disappears in what, a minute or 30 seconds, or it just kind of evaporates while you're
Evaporate. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
that. I think that's just amazing.
Yes.
So, do you have any other special tools you use when you're teaching, like the paper? I know I saw you with the hacky sack down there too. You were
Yes.
teaching that. Is that
Numbers. Yeah. Yeah, teaching numbers. Because shuttlecock kicking is also very Asian funny sport in China, and I enjoyed it when I was young, and yeah, so I used that to teach numbers, so that students, no matter not only they can learn numbers from kicking, and they can also enjoy the sport, have fun.
Vivian, is there anything that you want to add
Oh,
about the class?
yes, we have many activities to practice the words, the sentence, and the pronunciation. I think they did enjoy it. Yes.
Okay, very good. Ladies, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing, and I know that our adults here at the central office are learning a great deal from you, and soon you will be out also in the schools where our students will also have the opportunity to learn from you. So thank you very much for being here, and we look forward to continuing our work with you this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after this break.
Hi, I'm Vince Gill. Did you know that car accidents are the #1 cause of death in young people ages 16 to 20? As alarming as that is, there's something we can do about it. If you just take a simple pledge, it'll help keep your families and your friends safer while you're out on the road. I pledge to wear my seatbelt every time I ride in a vehicle and make sure that others in my vehicle are protected as well. Well, that's it. Come on and join the thousands that have already taken this pledge. Don't be a statistic, be the clique.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Schools. Our discussion is on the World Language Program in Williamson County Schools. Back with Christy and Dr. Looney. And Vivian and Sophie said that you as students are working very hard, but something our viewers don't know happened off camera, and so you have to tell.
Well, it turns out that I said I am a white truck instead of I have a white truck. But I was corrected very politely off of camera.
And I wanted Sophie to correct you on camera, and she wouldn't do that.
Well,
so I'm just saying.
They're awesome teachers and consummate professionals, so they're always making sure that we're doing the right thing. Really excited about our foreign language program. And Christy, we're working on a timeline. We're going to be sending a report to the board second semester about our progress that we have, so that we can very deliberately plan out the very next steps that we're going to have to take in order to get to a full implementation. Because if we're going to start in the primary grades, whether it's kindergarten or first or second grade, we have to have a methodology and a plan laid about how we get there and that sort of thing. You want to talk about what the next steps are?
Well, in the next step, we're continually writing curriculum, testing it out, and that's one of the models that we're going to follow in the schools. We're going to go into the elementary schools and test a little bit of the curriculum, see what works, what students respond to. The other part we're going into is going into the middle schools. We're going to do some Rosetta Stone pilots and with the middle schools and see how that age responds to Rosetta Stone. Additionally, other factors that we're kind of looking forward into the future about are teacher availability. At this rate right now, the state of Tennessee does not produce enough foreign language teachers to supply the needs just for our high school.
Right.
So one of the things that Williamson County is going to look to do is teacher recruitment. And we don't just want somebody, we want a good fit, professional, trained with younger children. So that's one of the things we're looking towards the future and planning for, and going to recruit. So if you know anybody, get a good plug in while we're here.
Right now.
Absolutely.
You know,
Call me.
I want to make sure that we also inform our listeners we're going to be offering Chinese language classes to the community.
Oh.
We have been partnering with Columbia State,
Okay.
and one of our fellows from China is going to be offering free of charge classes to anybody from the community that wants to sign up and learn a little bit of language skills, but also some of the culture. You know, we have learned so many things about China just by having these language classes. It's incredible. I had so many unrealistic or misconceptions about what China is like. I remember one day when I had the luxury of taking both of our Chinese fellows to the mall, and one of them immediately, she saw the Coach store and went running into the Coach store, and she looked at the price and she said, oh, these prices are not quite as good as somewhere else. So, you know, and then we started talking about the malls and what their malls look like, and honestly, it's just, we have so many things in common, and I think that's one of the bridges that learning a second language does, is that helps us to connect the dots and to understand that while we may live in different geographic locations, we have a lot of things in common, and that's really powerful, I think, and it's an important lesson for the boys and girls of Williamson County to learn as well.
Absolutely.
Can anyone take the classes, the community classes? How's that going to work?
It's going to be first come, first serve,
Okay.
Space available. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be posting a schedule with Columbia State Community College. That schedule will be available both through the Williamson County website and also through the Columbia State campus. But yes, anybody that's interested, be looking for that information to come out, and you might learn how to call yourself a white truck, or to do
something
different.
else.
Yes.
Better, more, whatever. Okay. All right. Let's talk about, I'm going to change gears on you.
Sure.
Let's talk about the Let's Talk Schools meetings that are coming up this fall. You've got one scheduled at the end of this month, October 30th,
Right.
and then November 1st, a Tuesday and a Thursday. And tell the viewers why it's important for the community to come out and meet with you and the board in this setting.
Well, first of all, this is an outreach effort that we make every year. We did do something different this year in that we're putting a couple of the sessions in the fall semester, not doing them all in the spring, just to try to reach out in a more deliberate way to get higher participation and give families a chance to ask questions along the way. The board is resolute in its commitment to getting feedback from the community, and this is an opportunity for whether you have kids in the school system or not. It's an opportunity to understand what we're doing, the fact that we're offering a world language, you know, to talk about anything that's of interest or concern to community members about the great public schools that we have here. This is a forum to do that. And you know, so many of our tax dollars go towards supporting public schools in Williamson County schools. In fact, it's a constant tug of war. And I think it's important for community members to know and understand what's the quality and the things that we're both doing and some of the challenges that we face in our school system. So I urge everybody to take a little bit of time, come out to one of the Let's Talk School sessions and find out more about the great things that we're doing in Williamson County schools and how they might want to, you know, learn some language along the way or help us in some other way.
Or just get involved. And get
Absolutely.
involved. Let's give those dates and times out. Both sessions are from 6 in the evening until 7:30.
Right.
The October 30th, that's Tuesday, October 30th at Centennial High School. And then Halloween falls in there. And then Thursday, November 1st at Independence High School. Again, 6 to 7:30, so we encourage folks to come out. Christy, you have about 20 seconds to give us a final word on world language in Williamson County schools.
Well, I just want to tell everyone how excited I am to be here in the county. Like I said earlier, to be in a place that desperately desires world language. So my job is halfway done. The desire is there, and I'm looking forward to helping Williamson County schools lay that foundation and march towards the future.
Wonderful. Final comment, Mike?
Good things ahead in Williamson County schools. So proud of our teachers, our students, and our families. Just stand by. We're heading in the right direction.
Very good. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for Let's Talk Schools.